Section 27 of Christmas and Christmas Lore. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Christmas and Christmas Lore by Thomas G. Crippen. Section 27. Mumming. Let us now turn from the more definitely religious to the purely festive aspect of Christmas and its customs, and first of mumming. The dictionaries define this as making diversion in disguise, and the merrymakers who were called mummers in England were called guisards in Scotland. Throughout the British Isles this was for ages a favourite sport, not at Christmas only, but on other festive occasions. In Ireland it was most prevalent on May Day, and in Scotland about the New Year. But in England Christmas and Easter, especially the former, have been the favourite seasons of the mummers. The tradition being that boys' mumming and carol singing legitimately begin on St. Thomas's Day, the shortest in the year. A familiar old ditty runs thus: "To shorten winter's sadness, see where the nymphs with gladness disguised all are coming, right wantonly a mumming with a fa-la-la." It was customary, though not universal, for the girls to dress as boys, and the men as women, and the disguised to visit the neighbors' houses, singing, dancing, and partaking of good cheer. In many places the performers, if sufficiently skilled, would execute a sword dance. This was altogether different from the Scottish sword dance, and though usually introduced with some harmless buffoonery, was a real artistic performance, the swords in the course of the dancing being plaited together in the form of a rose or star. As lately as the middle of the 19th century, it was practiced in Durham County and the Yorkshire Dales, and with some difference in Devon. It is even continued to this day in the neighbourhood of Flamborough. Elsewhere the Morris dance was affected, although this was usually thought more seasonable at May Day and Whitsuntide, and the hobby horse was not forgotten. Where anything beyond dancing was attempted, it usually took the form of a rude burlesque drama, with plenty of fighting. The characters were various, but they generally included a bully who was killed, and a doctor by whom he was resuscitated. The leader commonly spoke a ridiculous prologue. Varying in different places, one of the drollest used in Somerset is as follows: "Here comes I, little man Jan, with my girt sword in my hand. If you don't all do as you be told by I, I'll send ye all to York for to make apple pie." The performance was usually pure buffoonery, but sometimes there was a simple plot, such as the rescue of a Christian maiden from the clutches of a terrible Turk. In the most widespread of the mummeries, the leading characters are St. George, Alexander, King of Egypt, Hector, sometimes called Slasher, the Dragon, and Dr. Brown. The prologue is spoken sometimes by Father Christmas, and sometimes by a small boy in a scarlet vest who personates Robin Redbreast. In the Cornish version, St. George kills in succession the dragon, the Turkish knight, and the giant, each of whom is cured by the doctor. He, after the last cure, is given a basin of gurty grout, and is then kicked out, and the epilogue is spoken by Judas with the bag, or by Little Devil Doubt: "Give him money, or he'll sweep ye all out." Some have described these mummery plays as a degradation or burlesque of the old miracle plays, but that is very unlikely. They are more probably a survival from pre-Christian times. There was a custom in many parts of the Roman Empire of going about on New Year's Day in mass, often of animal faces, in skins of beasts, and in women's dresses. This practice was strongly condemned by the clergy from the 4th century onward. Specimens of their denunciations are extant from at least 8 different countries. If we may judge from the analogy of what still goes on in Western Africa, these animal masks were worn for the due performance of sacrificial or magical rites, the wearers being priests or members of secret societies, whom the uninitiated supposed to be demons. This belief would be fostered by the early Christian clergy to create a greater horror of idolatry. It is almost certain that some such masquerade is the explanation of the witches' Sabbath on Walpurgis Nacht. It being alleged whether truly or falsely, that crime was facilitated by the disguises, and especially the mask worn by mummers. Order is said to have been given by Henry VIII that all mummers wearing visors should be apprehended as vagabonds and committed to prison for 3 months, or fined at the king's pleasure. In some places the mummery took the form of a dance of fools, the dancers wearing motley with caps and bells. This belonged less to Christmas than to the New Year and Plough Monday. In Somerset, and no doubt elsewhere, mumming degenerated into mumping, that is, plain undisguised begging. In many West County villages the poor women go around on St. Thomas's Day soliciting seasonable gifts, which it is deemed uncharitable to refuse. In Gloucester this is called Thomasing, in Warwickshire corning, and in Kent going a gooding. A variety of mumping rhymes are current in various places, of which one heard in Somerset may serve as a sample. Christmas is coming, the beef is getting fat, please drop a penny in a poor man's hat. Formerly, in return for the expected alms, the mumpers offered sprigs of evergreens, useful for home decoration. End of section 27.